Hello everyone, I'm Brahani, I'm a senior at NCS, and I'm the co-president of our acapella group Sarsaparilla alongside Shima and Sophia over here. Like I said, Sarsaparilla is our only student-led acapella group at NCS. We perform at a variety of events, including Spirit Day, Flower Mart, and the fall and spring concerts, and we're so excited to perform today. Thank you.
Spinning out at what to say or what to do. Finding reasons for my constant state of mood. Said I see it to believe it, but who knows the actual truth? 'Cause I'm sure now, I'm sure, 'cause days blur toward when I'm on the right beaches and the walls painted white. They tell me all the secrets. Don't wait for the tide just to dip both your feet in. 'Cause I'm sure now, I'm sure. Find it hard to say and know that I'm alright. Took a while for me to finally realize that when I see it, I'll believe it, giving me peace of mind. I'm sure now, I'm sure, 'cause days blend to one when I'm on the right beaches and the walls painted white. They tell me all the secrets. Don't wait for the tide just to dip both your feet in. 'Cause I'm sure now, I'm sure.
Thank you so much for listening. That was Beaches by Viva Doobie, and as Brahani mentioned, we are the only NCS student-led acapella group, but there are so many other performance opportunities all across NCS, so feel free to reach out to any of the student ambassadors here today to ask about those, and we hope you all have a great open house. Thank you so much.
Well, good morning and welcome to National Cathedral School. My name is Eleanor Scully and I am the head of NCS. I'm beginning my 5th year as head of school, but I have served this school in several capacities prior to coming back as the head of the school. I was the upper school head and associate head here for 8 years. So I have a long history with National Cathedral School, and we're just thrilled that you've come here today so we can give you a little glimpse into the life of our school. I will say that we hope this open house gives you an opportunity to meet some students and see some teachers, visit our campus, but the best way to really get to know National Cathedral School is to come and take a tour and visit us, because you'll get even more of a sense of who we are. National Cathedral School for Girls has a very simple and direct mission statement. We believe in the power of young women, and we educate them to embrace our core values of excellence, service, courage, and conscience. Everything we do at our school, every bit of our academic and co-curricular program, is designed to help young women uncover, discover, and connect their power to those around them. We are a girls' school, And we are a girls' school because we believe that there are very particular benefits that a young person gets when she is educated in this model. We know there has been significant research done on students who have attended girls' schools and some of the advantages that come from that type of learning environment. I think the first and the most powerful overarching benefit of an all-girls school experience is how it makes you feel about your power and your capacity to learn and be effective. Students that go to girls' schools are generally much more confident than their peers from co-ed schools, and they are more, therefore, academically successful. 93% of students that go to a girls' school are offered greater leadership opportunities and seek them out more frequently. They are 6 times more likely to go into a STEM discipline, science, technology, engineering, or math. 90% of students who attend a girls' school say they feel more supported by their peers than other students. 73% of girls, for example, in co-ed schools feel that support, but 90% of those who attend a girls' school feel supported by their classmates. These are compelling reasons to consider what might come from an all-girls upper school experience. But why this girls' school? Why National Cathedral School? So what I would like to do for just a few moments this morning before you hear from the real experts is tell you why I think our approach to all-girls education is so distinctive, so unique, and so special. We are a girls' school that really doubles down on the depth, breadth, and sophistication of our academic program. We are a skills-based school, and what that means is that we believe that the best gift an NCS education can offer a young person is deep, sophisticated skills that she will use not only in college when she graduates, but throughout the rest of her life. These are critical thinking skills, self-expression skills, analytical reasoning skills. What we hear over and over and over from our graduates is that NCS is the single most important academic experience of all of their education because they develop these skills at such a deep level that when they encounter novel contexts that they aren't prepared for or problems and work that they had never encountered, they feel confident and ready to embrace that work. We also do all of that in a context that sparks a deep and abiding sense of curiosity and excitement about learning. I, as a head of school, try to get into classrooms as often as I can, and what always amazes me when I'm in classroom spaces is the students' abiding love of learning, the energy they bring to their classes, and the dynamism of the lessons that take place. Ours is a deeply relational way of teaching, and what I mean by that is that this is a school where teachers invest deeply in their relationships with their students, get to know them as individuals, how they learn best and what they're like, their personalities, and the students do a lot of collaborative learning and support one another. So there is both a deep and abiding relationship with the teacher, but also really strong bonds of support and connection among the students who are learning together. The classmates that a student is surrounded by support her learning, encourage her. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about girls' schools is that they are competitive. If anything, our students describe themselves as having high standards for themselves, but wanting the success of all the students around them in equal measure. Students go really deep in our curriculum. They throw themselves into the learning at a very, very sophisticated level. And as I said, our alums tell us over and over again, they are so well prepared for their lives because of how they learned to study and embrace curiosity at this school, but also the confidence that they developed in their capacity to do so. National Cathedral School sits on something called the Cathedral Close. That's generally the area that surrounds a cathedral. And there are 55 acres that surround the National Cathedral. So we are in the middle of Washington, D.C., but we are situated on this beautiful bucolic campus. What does it mean to be a cathedral school? It means that we're an Episcopal school. The National Cathedral is the seat of the Episcopal Diocese in Washington. It strives to be a house of prayer for all people, which means it's a very inclusive and welcoming space. The Episcopal tenet of education for Episcopal schools is that we strive for justice and peace among all people, and we honor the dignity and worth of every human being. That at its core is what it means to be an Episcopal school. It means we are all about being kind, inclusive, and welcoming to people from all walks of life and all faith traditions. We go into the National Cathedral once every 7 days to have a cathedral service, all school, 4th through 12th grade. In that space, we hear homilists who speak about their own feelings about spirituality or about how they've lived their lives. We hear from those who represent other faith traditions. We sing. Many of our concerts are in the cathedral. So it is a very special space in the life of our school. And again, graduates tell us that they sort of see that as their cathedral. We also have chapel services in this space. So these are weekly chapel services that are just for the upper school. We have a student vestry that plans them in partnership with chaplains. And again, that tends to be a very welcoming and inclusive space where we hear from students about their lives and sometimes, again, from those in our community like teachers. Our core values of courage and conscience tend to be the kinds of themes that we explore through the lens of our Episcopal identity. And so these are spaces where we reflect deeply about how we can make an impact on the world and how we can use our gifts in service of those who might need us. We have a Center for Ethical Leadership and Service. It's called CELS, and you'll have a chance to hear from some folks today about that program. Our CELS program recognizes that women are called at this particular time to step into leadership roles in the world, and there are specific ethical and leadership skills that you need to do that well. These are skills of working across difference, lifting up and understanding how to build a really diverse, equitable, and inclusive community, and how we build the strength and culture of our school by how we treat one another and lean into learning about different perspectives. We also have a coordinate program with St. Albans. So we often say we are all girls, but not only girls. Our brother school is across the close from us. It's about a 3 to 4 minute walk. And our students in upper school can take coordinate classes. Those are coeducational classes at the brother school. If you are a student who wants to have primarily an all-girl experience, you can take most, if not all, of your classes at NCS. But if you're interested in being exposed to coeducational experiences, you can take classes across the way, and every student will have at least one co-ed class before they graduate. Many of our co-curricular activities are also coeducational, and I think the students will speak deeply about their engagement with athletics, arts, music, and some of those unique opportunities. Every fall, I do something quite selfish in practice, and that is I go and meet with the seniors in their homerooms. Homerooms are small groups of students by grade level that have an advisor, and that advisor is meant to be your advocate, your go-to person who helps you navigate your high school experience. And so I go visit the senior homerooms mostly because, as I said, selfishly, it's really fun to be around the students. They are warm and welcoming and hilarious and thoughtful. And so I visit the homerooms and I take that opportunity to ask them one question. And I've done this since I've been head of school here, so I'm going on 5 years. And the question is, what, as a senior, as you begin the last year of your high school experience, what advice would you give your 9th grade self about high school? If you could go back in time and advise the 9th grade version of yourself about how to go about high school, what would you tell them? And what I have found sort of remarkable is the consistency of what I am told across classes and across time. And so I thought I would share 4 bits of advice that the seniors say they would tell themselves as 9th graders, or frankly, our current 9th graders, if they were thinking deeply about how to coach them. The first is almost the number one thing that always comes first is they say, go to office hours. We have office hours in our school. Those are times of the day when teachers are available to meet with students outside of the regular class time. And a lot of students think you go to office hours when you're having difficulty with something or you need some extra help. But what the seniors said to me is, yes, of course, you should go to office hours if you need some more instruction. But go to office hours to get to know your teachers. When you do, it makes the high school experience so much better. The teachers are people they want to spend time with and get to know. And that when they invest that kind of time in our relational model, it is something that makes their high school experience so much richer. I am always thrilled at Thanksgiving or our winter break when recent graduates come back to the school. They are coming back to see the teachers. They rush to see their advisors. They drop by their English teacher's class at the end of the day to see if they can catch up and share their college news. It is a deep strength of this school that teachers really know and care about their students, and the students want to spend time with their teachers. The second piece of advice that seniors give is to experiment early. Try things you've never tried before. Try out for a sport that you would never have imagined being something you might want to explore. Try out for the play. Get involved in music, as Shima said. That when you experiment early, our co-curricular program introduces you to students in other grade levels. And not only do you discover things about yourself, passions and interests that you might not otherwise consider, you get to know upperclassmen. And that the bonds of connection, born of a sport, born of the fall play, are a rich tapestry of what lifts you up in high school. So the earlier you do that, the more exposure you have to students who will graduate before you do. The third piece of advice is really interesting. It's some version of the sentence, find your people. And what they suggest is that in high school, you can meet people and build friendships across lots of different social groups. When you are younger, you tend to travel with one group. What our upper school students tell me is that the richness of an upper school experience is how friendships can arise in these different activities and cut across a broad swath of people. And by senior year, what the seniors tell me is that their class has really connected and found a strong sense of vibrant support for one another. Finding your people evolves, it changes, but it is one of the hallmarks of this experience. I know that there are alums whose National Cathedral School friends are still among their best. I went to the wedding of one of my advisees from my time at NCS when I was the upper school head, and I was stunned at how many of her National Cathedral School friends were at her wedding, at her side to celebrate alongside of her. And then the last piece of advice seniors give ninth graders is that it is really a privilege to learn here, that it's hard, that this curriculum can be challenging. And we ask our students to do sort of difficult intellectual work, and we give them opportunities to go deep in extracurricular activities. But every senior basically says a version of this to me. It's so worth it because you develop so much love and passion for the things you do. You bond with your classmates as you do it, and you get so much support from the adults around you. And that, to me, is emblematic of what a National Cathedral School graduate is like. She's curious and she's hungry to engage the world in all kinds of interesting projects. She does it alongside of other people who are equally curious. She goes at it with enthusiasm and passion, and she takes care of herself along the way and lifts others up. So today, you have lots of students around you, and you can ask them some version of what advice would you give my daughter or our family as we think about NCS. I will tell you there is no better source of information over the course of an admission process than the students who you will get to know throughout your journey. So with that, I have the distinct privilege to introduce our student government president, Sophia. Sophia is a remarkable leader. I've gotten to know her in my time here. She is a model of everything we hold up in our students, and so I think you're going to really enjoy hearing from her. Sophia, thank you for sharing your thoughts, and thank you to all of you for being here today. Really, it's sort of heartwarming to see the chapel full, and if there's anything that we can do for you along your enrollment process, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you, and Sophia.
Hi everyone, my name is Sophia, and I'm a member of the Radiant Senior Class. Over the last 3 and some years in the upper school, I have found myself participating in a variety of activities. To name a few, I am a student ambassador, student government president, a peer tutor for middle schoolers, and an editor for our school's newspaper. Though it may seem like the value of these activities lies in their quantity or distinction, my time as a student here has uncovered a truth that is tied to this school's mission. All students at NCS find multiple communities that are meaningful to them, in addition to the broader one they are a part of. And these communities stimulate the students' individual growth, offer a reliable support system, strengthen their academic and emotional skills, and create opportunities for lasting friendships. Let me explain a little bit more about what I mean, using an example that feels very relevant to me right now and can hopefully serve as a microcosm for a larger message. This fall has marked my 4th and final year with NCS's varsity soccer team, and I seriously could not have asked for a better season. In our regular season, we went 6-0 in conference, finishing first in our league and securing promotion to the top division. At the time of my writing these remarks, it was the eve of our tournament championship final, so I'm not entirely sure how everything panned out. All I have written is insert update here. Unfortunately, we lost after holding Bullis tied for 60 minutes, but regardless of the outcome, my point stands. My amazing senior season hasn't really been about results, but instead about community. When I think about the 20 girls on the team and the last 3 months we've spent together, I'm filled with such pride over how close of a circle we've become. I can remember the foundation of this community well. It was early August, and all of the rising 9th graders were on campus for freshman orientation. The programming was a good mix of icebreaker activities, basic upper school logistics, and conversations about NCS's values. In going around and introducing myself to some of the freshmen, I stumbled upon a few whom I overheard talking about soccer tryouts: Rosie, Alexis, and Simi. All around me, I watched other orientation leaders do the same. Seniors bonding with new students over theater, their favorite subjects, coming to NCS from out of state, or being a huge Swiftie. These small interactions kick-started a feeling of belonging for new students that I see flourishing today. I was very excited to see those 3 freshmen from earlier in the day again, a few hours later at one of our summer captain's practices. I have a fond memory of running a practice fitness test with them and some other players that day, during which me and my co-captain and good friend Lila grossly undermeasured the distance we were meant to run in between the beeps. We measured in feet, not meters. "This is so easy," we said as we cruised through the first 20 levels. Let's just say we were in for a big surprise during the actual fitness test a few weeks later when we were breathing heavily at level 8. Although the freshmen were exasperated that we gave them false confidence, laughing over that obvious error sparked a strong friendship between some of the older students on that team and the new students. This is just one of the many examples I have of a community within NCS bringing me closer to people I otherwise might not have met. I can speak for my own senior class when I say that we are so eager to form strong connections with younger and newer faces, just as those before us did for us. That kind of community extended beyond just giving new players a warm welcome at the beginning of the season. Just a few weeks ago, one of my teammates came to practice upset with herself over her seeming inability to grasp a concept in her math class. Immediately and instinctively, players from all different grades, including freshmen, offered their support in the form of, "I'm sure you know it better than you think," or guidance through advice about meeting with her teacher the next day. By the end of the warm-up jog, my teammate was visibly feeling better. Everyone on the team made a conscious effort to make her laugh extra that day, and she told me on the walk back up the hill after sports that she felt re-energized to give her math work another go. When the underclassmen stress about their English essays, the upperclassmen are there to offer to edit them. When the seniors lament about their college applications, the freshmen give them a hug and remind them that it's probably not as hard as their physics homework. At the annual sleepover, we watch Try Not to Laugh videos until our ribs hurt and pretend to be a novice a cappella group at the Lincoln Memorial. These connections are the glue of our team and what allowed us to be so successful this season. And not only are we supported by each other, but also by the adults at NCS. Dr. Scully makes frequent appearances at NCS soccer games, as do all of the advisors and teachers. When I talk about smaller communities nested within larger communities, know that each one has at least one adult who cares deeply about that community and its students, passionate about helping them find their way. I'm talking about soccer now because it's particularly top of mind with the season ending and my soccer career coming to a close, but I really believe this message applies everywhere at NCS. I could give the same kind of speech about student government, the Latinx Student Union, my homeroom, or even any of my academic classes. And I know my classmates would say the same thing. We care so much, not just about NCS as a broader school, but about all the groups and connections that make it what it is. Those smaller communities reflect what NCS stands for, a real-life extension of our core values. Courage in building new, unexpected connections, service in working towards a shared, meaningful purpose, conscience in offering our support to each other, and excellence in letting our communities bring up the best versions of ourselves. As you head into classroom chats, the highlights tour, and the sports part of the day, I hope you notice all of the different spaces where connection happens at NCS, because those moments, the smaller circles within the big one, are what makes this place feel like home. Thank you.
Okay, I'm now going to invite
Our student panelists up. I am going to open up the room for some questions for you guys to ask our amazing students. And we're going to begin with a few of my questions and then open it up from there. So first, I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourselves by giving your name, your current grade, the grade you joined NCS, something you're involved in, and your favorite thing you've eaten in the dining hall.
Hi, my name is Shima. I'm currently a senior at NCS. I came to NCS new in 9th grade. One thing that I'm involved with at NCS is Government Club, which is the oldest club on the close, which is coordinated with St. Albans School, our brother school. I serve as clerk. It's a current events political debate club. Oh, my favorite thing that I've eaten in the dining hall is the chicken tikka masala curry. It's really good.
Hi, my name is Amanda. I'm in 11th grade. I was also new in 9th grade, and something I'm involved in is I'm vice president of our Black Student Union. And my favorite thing that I've eaten in the dining hall is probably like the churros last year. They were really good.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm in 10th grade and I joined NCS in 9th grade. I'm on the varsity soccer team also, and my favorite thing I've eaten in the dining hall, it's hard because it's also good, but it would have to be one of the pasta bars.
My name is Alexa. I'm in 9th grade. This is my first year at NCS. Something I'm involved in is I'm taking a Pilates class this fall, and my favorite thing I've eaten in the dining hall is probably the grilled cheese.
Okay, the first question is, what's the homework load like and how do you balance it all?
Well, I'm new, so I've really only had 2 months of experience with this, but I would say that it's not 0 to 100 right away. You definitely get eased into it, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I play a club sport in addition to being on the soccer team here, so during the fall it can feel like a lot, but there are so many support systems and people here that will help you time manage and just really learn good skills that have already helped me outside of school also.
Adding on to what Emily said, as a freshman, you're mandated to go to study hall during your free time, and so that really helps you practice time management skills and get used to utilizing your free time. So.
Yeah, and just to add on to what everybody has said, as a senior who's currently going through the college application process, I'd just say it's amazing how understanding all the teachers are about how you're balancing homework loads and this workload for working on essays, and they're really understanding about that. So they make sure that you have time for everything, which is great.
My next question is, what's something new you've tried at NCS and how has that impacted you?
So last year I tried Model UN. So if you're not familiar, it's kind of like a mock United Nations. You're assigned a country and you debate about global politics. And I'd never done anything like that before. I was never big on public speaking. So it definitely really helped me learn to develop my public speaking skills and have more courage to talk in front of a crowd like I'm doing right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I always loved English class, but coming into NCS, the English classes here are probably my favorite thing about the school, honestly. Last year, I read Shakespeare for the first time, The Tempest, and then we also read a modern adaptation of it called Tempest, and it was just really fascinating. My teacher helped me so much, and it was just amazing, and then we wrote an essay, and I think that was my favorite thing I've ever written. So I really enjoyed that. And then we read Macbeth this fall in English 10, and I also really enjoyed that. So I'm really glad that the school helped open me up to that.
Something new I tried this year is I'm taking a photography class for the first time. And I've really never used a camera to take photos and stuff, so learning about how to adjust the light and all of that has been super cool. And I'm really happy I tried it because it's something that I really enjoy.
Okay, I'm now going to open it up to any parent or student questions. Does any brave soul want to go first? Yes, in the very back. Yeah. The question was, what is the best part about NCS that is unique to NCS?
I mean, I have to say the community, everyone here has been so welcoming and nice, and it's just really great that you get to hear a very diverse group of opinions, but everyone wants to just be involved, and everyone loves the school. It's really, really great.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Another thing I would say for me personally is just all the resources that you're given, both academic and otherwise. For example, this past summer we have a variety of fellowships that are offered to students, rising sophomores and beyond. So I engaged in research in Spain. I did an independent study on censorship of journalism during the post-Franco democratic transition with the Hester Fellowship, but there are I think there are 6 or 7 other fellowships that are available for students, both research, visual arts, performing arts. There's just a variety. So that's just one example, but there are just so many resources for students all across any of their interests that they'd like to pursue. So I think that's really cool.
Yes?
What's your favorite NCS tradition?
The question was about favorite NCS tradition.
My favorite NCS tradition is definitely the senior cathedral service. So in the spring, at the end of the year, the seniors plan the cathedral service, and it's so sentimental, and I just cry every time. It's so sweet. Even as a freshman, when I didn't really know the seniors, I was still in tears. It's just so cute because they sing a lot of them sing songs, and it's not really good, but it's still it's just really fun, and it's just a way to wrap up the year. Yeah.
I mean, I think I have to mention Spirit Day. So for those who don't know, the school has 2 teams, purple and gold, go gold. And on Spirit Day, which is in the early fall, you just compete with your team against the other team for the morning, and it's really great. There's a scream off, it's super competitive, everyone comes decked out in all their gear, and it's just really fun. And then you end the day in the homecoming game, so there's a soccer game and a volleyball game, and everyone shows up, and it's really great. And we always say 2 teams, 1 family, and I think that's really represented on Spirit Day when we sort of compete the whole day, and then everyone comes together to root for the school in the end.
Other questions? Yeah.
I think if I heard correctly, most or all of you joined in 9th grade. I'd love to hear what that transition was like as you entered NCS.
Yeah, so I was definitely really worried about making friends and meeting new people and finding my people when I first joined. But I think definitely Prep for Success, which is the orientation program. So the first 2 days you do it with all new 9th graders, and then you do it with the entire 9th grade, and that really helps you meet people. But also kind of just through the everyday little things, you meet so many people. So through your classes or your sports or any clubs or extracurriculars you join, I feel like you really just find people, and then you can really choose who you want to really be friends with.
Also in 9th grade, once a week you meet with your peer group, and you have peer leaders that are seniors who sort of help ease your transition. Your peer group is a group of freshmen who you really become close with throughout the year because you meet with them every Friday during office hours, and you guys get snacks and you just talk about your week, and it's really great. That really helped me make some friends.
Another thing too is preseason for fall sports. Emily and I both play fall sports. She plays soccer, I play volleyball. And being in freshman year, volleyball tryouts was the first school activity I did, and I made a lot of friends from that. Everyone is so welcoming and really nice, and I think that's a good way to make friends as well.
And then on the academic side transitioning, I think I was also a little bit worried coming into NCS because I knew that it's really a top tier education and very academically rigorous in many ways, but I found that there are, again, so many resources that help you with that transition. For example, as Amanda mentioned, you have study hall that is required, so that kind of teaches you how to manage your time, and then there are also a variety of resources. The peer tutors program, peer scholars program, that can offer you individualized and also group support for specific academic subjects or the TLC that can help you with organizational skills. So people really utilize that a lot.
Yeah.
My question is about NCS being an all-girls school. How do you think that strengthened your individuality and helped you pursue one of your passions?
Well, for me personally, I came from a co-ed K through 8 school, and I found that having the all-girls environment for the majority of my classes in freshman year was a great way for me to kind of expand my confidence, and also just have a really focused academic environment. But then as you move throughout high school, I think it's a great balance because you can kind of choose to what extent you want to have a co-ed experience. For example, some of our sports teams, track, swimming, cross country, they are co-ed, and then some of our performing arts and visual art classes as well can be co-ed. So you can kind of tailor your experience, which I think is really cool. And then also starting in around junior year and senior year, you can take electives, like English electives or social science electives with the brother school. So you basically have like double the curriculum. So if class isn't offered at the girls' school, you can take one at the brother school, which I think is really cool. And by that time, I feel like by the time you're a junior and senior, you kind of have that confidence in your academic abilities and otherwise that you've built up. So I think it's a really great reasons.
Yeah, just adding on to Shima, I feel like I really became more confident speaking specifically in Harknesses in English class because we do have like a Harkness-based system. Yeah, I just really felt comfortable sharing my ideas, and I didn't feel that way coming out of middle school so much, but now I feel like public speaking also was mentioned. Like standing up here right now is probably something I wouldn't have been able to do before, so I'm really grateful that I got to learn those skills.
I have some other questions prepared if there's, yeah, in the back. Sorry, can you repeat that? So the question was, what's something you wish you knew before you came to NCS?
I think something I wish I knew before coming into NCS is just how many opportunities you have to try new things. I feel like coming into NCS, I thought that coming from a school where I basically had a grade of 50 people and I've known all of them most of them since I was 7 years old, I thought that I'd have to kind of narrow down my interests and pick a few things that I really wanted to focus on for these next 4 years, but I find that's almost the opposite. I actually got to try so many new things. I did track for the first time, played squash for the first time, I got involved in Model UN as well, I joined the a cappella group. There are just so many new opportunities that I think are available to you. So I don't think I realized just how much exploration you have a chance to do, both academic and extracurricular.
Kind of adding on to that, I also went to a K-8 school that was co-ed that I'd known everyone since I was 7, so I also thought I thought the transition would be really hard, and I thought that it'd be like more difficult to assimilate to the community, but like Shima said, there's just so many opportunities to try new things, and the community here is like really welcoming. I remember my first day, people were just saying hi to me in the hallways. I didn't know who they were, but it was still really nice. I just felt like really welcomed immediately, so that's something I wish I knew. Just not to be scared.
It's a good question. The question was about how you feel like NCS's Episcopal identity is integrated into day-to-day life.
So we have cathedral once a rotation, and that's like more formal than chapel, like Dr. Scully was mentioning earlier. So we like dress up, and the thing about NCS is that you can take what you want out of like the religious places. So for cathedral, if you like, it's just more of a like reflective time than necessarily like a church service. But then also we have chapel, which is definitely more community centered. A lot of student groups play in chapels, like affinity groups, and it's just a lot about just being in community. So I wouldn't say that the Episcopalian part is like in our everyday. It's more of just like reflection and community.
I would say, like Dr. Scully mentioned in her speech, like the ideas of like Episcopalian values, like respecting the dignity of every human being and all of that, is just like part of the community, and it's already like integrated into how people treat each other.
And I definitely think that the CELS program that Dr. Scully spoke to as well is very grounded in the Episcopal callings to treat everyone with respect. And I think one of the patterns that we've heard like throughout this panel is the inclusivity that people are inclined to, and I think that that is very much driven by NCS's Episcopal identity. Okay, I have a question for you guys. What's your relationship with your advisor like?
So I really love my advisor, and I love the relationship I have with her. And I think it's good because they're always there for you, whether like you need just comforting words or you like specific advice for a class. And I think having somebody who's there, who's not really biased like for a specific subject or for a specific thing is super helpful because they can really get to know you and get to know like who you are.
So your advisor is someone who you spend your homeroom time with, and then also probably will be meeting with outside as well. And you have a 9th grade advisor, and then at the end of your 9th grade year, you sort of vote on the possible advisors for your class, and for the next 3 years, whoever you get will be your advisor. So I just got my new advisor for the next 3 years, and he's really great. I feel like we get along really well, and I'm really glad that I was able to choose who I wanted because I feel like he has a good level of like involvement in my life for me, and I like that he really helps me with what I need to be helped with, and we just get to talk to each other, and yeah, he's like a great friend, honestly.
Advisors are just basically like your support system, so if you ever need anything, they're your advocate for you, so I really like that.
Yes.
What languages are you guys studying?
I'm in Spanish. I'm in Spanish 3 Classic, which is a more grammar-focused class. I started Spanish in freshman year, and yeah.
So I took Spanish as well. I took Spanish 3 in freshman year, and then in sophomore year I took AP Spanish, Language and Culture, and then took Spanish 5 in junior year. And I'd say language has been a really integral part of my NCS experience. Part of the topics that I explored in my Spanish 5 course are what inspired me to go to Spain for my fellowship this past summer. And I'd say the language program at NCS is really amazing. And I touched on this a little bit earlier as well, but if there aren't enough NCS students for a particular course, there are a lot of coordinate language classes as well. I know some of the introductory courses are coordinate, and then also Latin, I believe, Chinese. But yeah, so there's just like a wealth of resources for language.
Yeah, I'm also in Spanish 3 Classic right now, and I really enjoy it. We basically just get to talk about really interesting topics the whole class, and I find that really fascinating because I love to do it in English, so it's also great in Spanish. Yeah, I've learned a lot of Spanish since I came here. Last year was really foundational in my vocabulary, and then this year I love that I get to put that to use. So it's been really great, and you can sort of continue it as far as you want to. Like Shima has really utilized her Spanish, obviously with her fellowship, and I am looking to do that as well because I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I also take Spanish. I'm in Spanish too, and I do think something that's really cool about the language program is it's not just learning about the grammar and memorizing all of the vocabulary. You can really talk about talking Spanish. Like we just have a project where you had to write in Spanish, which is super cool because you get to learn how to use it and not only how to memorize it.
But we do also offer French, Chinese, and Latin, just to be clear. Yeah.
How large is like the standard academic class that's
So I would say around like 12 to 15 people in a class. Yeah.
I think it's a really great size because it allows everyone to participate, but also there's a lot of different opinions, so you're able to have really great discussions and have a lot of people contribute. Yeah.
I personally like smaller classes because it feels more like less pressure. And yeah, my smallest class was when I was in freshman year. My history class was 10 people, and it was really cool. It was really nice. We were really close, and it really helped like us to form relationships with each other and also with our teacher as well.
Okay, so our last question is, why should the students in this room choose NCS?
Well, I think all students in this room should choose NCS because you just have so many opportunities to explore anything that you're passionate about, whether that be research that you want to be involved in a very specific academic topic, whether it's a sport that you're really passionate about, whether it's a club that you want to join, or a new performance opportunity that you want to try out. I just think there's a host of really top tier opportunities that are available to you, and there are also so many elements that are unique to NCS. Like I mentioned, our coordinate program with St. Albans, the flexibility that you're provided with that as well, and as Sophia touched on, the way that our Episcopalian values really center us from day to day, and the communities that everybody's been talking about since the very beginning are really special.
I agree. I also think that the community is a really big part. We have so many community times where we can be with each other and build relationships like cross-divisional, cross-grade, so I think that's a big part as well.
I would choose NCS time and time again. I mean, I tell my parents like every day how grateful I am that I get to go here. Just like looking around, it is such an incredible school, and I really think I've become the person who I want to be since coming here.
Yeah, like what everybody's been saying, I think the community is something that is like so incredibly special because everybody is so supportive no matter what you do, and that's NCS.
Can we have a round of applause for our panelists?